I am very tired, but you notice I did a lot of gel this morning, 80s style, and it's still there. And I'm always noticing snacks, what snacks people eat. It's just a holdover, I guess, of my vending machine days, even though that was 5 years ago. And lighting, I love the lighting. Holdover the vending machine days, and I just notice what people eat. And so if I see snack foods anywhere, I tend to notice what's being stocked, what's around, Like at work, we have a pretty good mix of what I would consider white people snack foods, like salt and vinegar chips, and more ethnic snack foods like the hot Cheetos. So it was a long day, and Dum Dum here volunteered to work overtime, and I did that. That'll be nice. And the payroll dropped, and my coach didn't say a peep about me working 10 hours overtime last week. So I guess they're just gonna pay me. It's probably cheaper to just pay me to work overtime than it is to hire somebody. I'm sure of that. And we had a cold front come in today, so I'm a little cold. It's not really bad, the temperature, but that wind is a little unpleasant. And I put all my winter stuff away, so I'll probably have to dig my. I have like a white puffer coat. Get that out of the garage. The street lights are still dead from that one accident a couple days ago, where they last Sunday, where they ran into the light pole. And I noticed when first responders came to the scene of the accident yesterday, they were checking out the fire hydrant. They seemed rather concerned about it. So that may need some repairs. I mean, it wasn't like leaking or anything, but it was a little crooked. So, but I thought that was interesting. It's a volunteer fire department. Well, I think it's a mix. Some are paid, some aren't. And they did not want any candy. I think maybe because they saw me taking pictures and they thought it was some kind of ploy for YouTube or something. I don't know. But one of them did, so that was good. And the policeman took some candy. I had a policeman outreach Bible, New Testament for him. I'm gonna get more when I get paid. I like them. It's called Answering the Call. And yeah, it's a little cool for my taste. But I'm more of a tropical beast. I don't mind really cold weather if I'm dressed for it, because I have to spend a fair amount of time outside because I don't drive. Ron and I would talk about that sometimes, that somebody who drives dresses and carries themselves much differently than somebody who's on public transit. Somebody who's on public transit, this is my trunk. This is everything I have, is, what I can carry with me. I can't go out to the car and pick something up, so I didn't hand out much stuff on the way home, which is unfortunate, but I did a pretty good job on the way in. There was an incident on the bus where there's a lady. Unfortunately, pretty much, I'm going to go ahead and say it, pretty much all the white ladies who ride the bus are nuts. And this lady is not mentally stable at all. Hello. And she's very hostile, very combative, and just always like, for lack of a better word, beefing with somebody, especially bus drivers. She does not like black people telling her what to do, and most of the bus drivers on these routes are black or Latino or some other minority. And there's very, very few white drivers. And she likes me because I'm white. And she thinks I'm sympathetic to her. Look at that. Ooh, we had some rain today. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm gonna walk in the street. So, yeah, she thinks I'm sympathetic to her, and I'm not. I'm embarrassed when she wants to talk to me because I don't want to be associated with somebody who's so hateful. And she is. She doesn't pay. And then when the driver calls her on it, she gets really hostile, screaming at him. And so, anyways, today she got on the bus doing her usual thing. She put like a nickel in, and the bus driver's like, the fare's $1.25. Black lady driver, maybe 35, I'd say maybe. And really, really nice lady. She is good people. I don't want to say anymore, but she's good people. And so she the bus driver's like, hey, you need to pay. And I'm gonna pay. And she does that. She'll like put it in a nickel, and then she'll like scream that she's going to pay. And then she spends so long fumbling around in her junk that the driver says, go ahead and sit down. And she gets another attitude, and then she sits down. So it's like a ploy for her. And the driver's like, okay, I'll wait. And she put it in park. And so he starts cussing her out and says, I'm 50 something. She started to say, I'm 50, I'm a senior. And if you're in your 50s, which I may or may not be, that doesn't qualify as you as a senior to ride. You get like a free ride when you hit 70. I think or if you're a veteran. And I think if you hit 65, you get half off. Now, I get half off because I have a disability, and my doctor wrote a letter, and, so that all happened. Which is kind of weird. When I had my accident, Metro had literally every speck of information they ever needed about me already in their own files. So, including my social, everything, all that. Ron's information everywhere. We went on the Metro lift, and I'm sure they looked at some of it. So, or had the AI look at it. But, she's very hostile, and she's screaming at the driver, and the driver's like, just sit down, please, forget about it, just sit down, and don't you tell me what to do, and blah, 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 and I think there might have been a you people thrown in there, and, and the driver's like, what did you say? She wasn't like really angry, she's just like shocked. And this homeless lady in the back, I'm acquainted with her. She's generally with different men who like kind of look out for her. And she has fetal alcohol syndrome, and she's not very high functioning. But she seems to be very sweet. She completely lacks any kind of street smart, which is why I think these guys, kind of watch out for her. And she got up and it's like, honey, why don't you sit with me and we can talk about it? And she very gently just touched her shoulder like that. And the first woman, that the hater will call her, just turns around and she starts punching her. And this big black guy pulls her off. And, like right in front of me, no less. And the driver's like, oh, no, you did not just do that. And, so she gets off the bus and calls the police. And the woman is talking to me now, saying, you saw it, she attacked me. And I said, that's not what I saw. And, that's about all I said. And she sat down next to me, so I took out my phone, which is basically the new millennial way to say go bugger off, for lack of a better word. I think that's okay on YouTube. And I even plugged in my headphones, made it very obvious I didn't want to talk. And she's just sitting there, and she's thinking and trying to justify what she just did. And she taps me on the arm, and I'm like, what? So what time is it? And I tell her. So I didn't hear you. So I said it again very clearly, very slowly. Because I've noticed this happens sometimes at work. If I say something that they don't want to hear, they make me repeat myself. So I just do it very calmly. And, something my neighbors are having a party. I did see a lot of beer in the shopping carts today at work. Oh, that's Happy's dad, huh? Well, hopefully they're giving him tidbits. My cats are inside, so I'm not worried. But, and she realizes I'm not sympathetic. And she gets off. She's trying to talk to the driver, and the driver's like, go away. And so good, I'm glad you get to see a little of my life here. So, so the homeless lady ran off first. I think she called her boyfriend or whoever, and he said, you need to leave right now. And so she did, the victim. And then the assailant left. And there's a pair of nice looking lady sandals in the street. I wonder what happened. Anyways, so they left, and the driver was looking really aggravated, and the other bus came, and I was trying to get my stuff, and the strap on this got wrapped around something on the seat, and I was pulling on it, and I finally got it loose and got off, and I went over to the driver and I said, can I give you a hug? And she said, sure, and I gave her a hug. And I got on the other bus and I went to work. And nobody really talked about it, but it was sad. And, I hope they ban that woman because she's just awful. It's Ron used to say sometimes, and I can say this because Ron's dead, he used to say sometimes when he saw very ignorant black people, it made him embarrassed to be black or even to be called black. And that's kind of how I felt, is that I was embarrassed to be a white woman of that age, that I didn't want them to get us mixed up. But they call me the candy lady, and I've never seen this woman ever go above or beyond for any driver. And if nothing else, when the bus pulls up, smile at the driver. Get on, pay, and say good morning or good evening or whatever. You don't have to give them candy, but at least smile at them. Come on, it's not an easy job. So, I know my last driver was so burned out, but it must be a pretty good benefits package they've got. He was asking me what it was like to work at Walmart, which I thought was interesting. Just curiosity, not I want to work there. But, ooh, I got something. Okay. Car trouble? No, I don't have a car. Voice of the Martyrs, special reports. That is it. Okay. We're gonna put you in the candy bag. And those guys are having fun. I hope they're not too loud too late. When number 6 gets going, it's generally a lot like that. But his big party is Christmas Eve, which is why I did a Christmas Eve Bible handout, a couple months ago. And that worked well because I think by the time I got home, they were all done. The wind is not fun, but I'm doing it. And it looks like we had a pretty good downpour, but there isn't like any standing water in the street. I like that about the neighborhood. It drains off pretty quick. Now, during Harvey in 2017, where I'm walking was about 4.5 feet deep of water for about a week. You couldn't get in, couldn't get out. Ron and I had a fire ant infestation because all the flooded out fire ants decided to move into my bathroom. But one of my internet friends coached me in making a homemade ant bait with some borax and sugar. And that at least out. Number 6 is out today. Interesting. It's pretty late. Yeah. But, yeah. I didn't get any packages. And I hope number 6 got his tax document. Nobody took any candy either. I'm going to put this in because if I don't, the possum gets into the snack foods. Apparently possums like junk food. There is Cleo. I do not see the spot man. And the house is nice and warm. So, that's it.